All right, so we're walking into this movie called Disclosure Day, which was supposed to be Spielberg's big return to the box office summertime in a long time. And if you saw my box office video, then you know that this movie opened up to 92 million worldwide, which is a big deal because one, this movie didn't cost quite too much to make, but it also is an original sci-fi film. It's not a horror movie. It's not a sequel. It's not a superhero movie. It's not based on a toy. It's an original sci-fi film directed by Steven Spielberg, who has been doing this for 50 years. And best to say, Steven Spielberg seems to love the concept of aliens, even if they never really turn out great, which is interesting to think about. Now, I will say this did feel kind of like a spiritual successor to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but let's be honest, Close Encounters, in my opinion, is a little overrated and a little boring. And for some reason, this one kind of entranced me a little bit more because I was interested in the idea of what was going on, but I also felt like there wasn't any explanation of what the hell was going on. At 2 hours and 20 minutes, that's not a good idea. So, um, yeah, Steven Spielberg returned, to do sci-fi genre. So he has done a sci-fi movie at least once every decade, and he has government conspiracy, extraterrestrial mysteries, and the trademark sense of wonder, which is Steven Spielberg's specialty, right? And David Coeb came and wrote it, like he does with some other stuff. Emily Blunt, Colin Firth, and Coleman Domingo are the leads of the film, with Josh O'Connor, who I don't really know from anything else. But the other three stars are all phenomenal. They all put on great performances. They all do great. Now, there's a cybersecurity analyst, Daniel Kellner, who's Josh O'Connor, who uncovers evidence that the government and powerful organizations have hidden proof of extraterrestrial life for decades. And he attempts to expose the truth, but he does find himself pursued by the same other forces trying to keep humanity in the dark about it. At the same time, Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, begins experiencing those bizarre phenomena connected to an approaching extraterrestrial event. And as the stories collide, the film explores that, like, these two are the only two, because for some reason Coleman Domingo just knows that. And she was abducted by aliens as a kid. He was abducted by aliens as a kid. They were in the same probing room together as children, and they experienced some form of whatever from the aliens. Her mind just let it go, and she chose to forget about it. He didn't, and he lived with the thought. So, what was deep inside of her for years, he was already out as that alien, whatever was going on with him for years. And they're supposed to be drawn to each other through that probing station, even though it's strange, but that's what happened with them. So, what would, you know, what would happen if humanity learned beyond any doubt that we're not alone? I think humanity would freak the fuck out, which is said in the movie. The girl's like, mankind, we're not good at that kind of change like that. We're just not good at that kind of change. And it is marketed as an alien thriller, but it's not really. It's really more about like the truth and the secrecy. The public, people, us should be trusting those institutions. I say we don't. The fear of the unknown, stuff like that. And it is, like I said, like the Close Encounters, E.T. and War of the Worlds. It's like that all these movies lead up to this. And is this going to be Spielberg's like last alien film? We don't know. We really don't know. And I will say, on a side note, that I think Emily Blunt's performance, it is so damn good. She does such a phenomenal job. And it is my favorite performance in the movie. To throw out the fact that Coleman Domingo and Colin Firth are also incredible, by the way, they're both good. And it is interesting to see those two, because there's one scene where Coleman Domingo and Colin Firth have a conversation, and they're just both just going, and they're both great. Emily Blunt has a sequence on the train that I know some people don't like, but there's a scene inside the train where she's having some kind of freak out panic attack, and I just was like, "Ooh, she's good. Damn, she's good. She is acting her behind. Like you got it. Like it. It's interesting, and I will say that the performances actually do make the film work a little bit because they're giving what they can give to what they know and what they have to work with. So be fair to the actors on this one. And I think it's cool that even after like decades, Steven Spielberg remains one of the few directors capable of making the audience feel that genuine awe feeling. But the biggest moments in the film are surrounded by mystery and anticipation. And the problem with me is there is no emotional payoff, though. Like, there's supposed to be some payoff from this, but they didn't really feel like there was any. And what happens if we disclose government secrecy, humanity's future? How would react if alien life did suddenly become confirmed and the government was like, yo, well, here it is. Problem with that is we don't see that. We don't see that. And it just kind of ends there when they like finally get us to disclosure day and they disclose that government information. We don't see the aftermath because the movie just cuts to black. And that was my favorite part of the movie, probably, was when they finally show the tapes and we do get to see everything. We see stuff that's going on. We see clips of stuff. They build off of Roswell. They build off of like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and stuff like that. But we don't get to see mankind's reaction to what's going on. That's like my biggest like sadness about the movie. Now I do have to say the other thing is there's like this alien technology that they seem to have their hands on for whatever reason, and they can just do whatever the hell they need to do. Like there's no explanation what those things are or where they come from, but they can just kind of use them and do whatever with them if need be necessary. And I will say, like, I kind of agree with other people where they say, like, it's some of his best sci fi work in years, but a lot of people feel like it's overly complicated and doesn't feel like it delivers on its intriguing promise, which is where I stand. I don't think it really delivered on that point. Now, if I would say, as far as sci fi wise, it didn't bore the hell out of me, which it does, some of his movies do for me. And yeah, I'm more on the side that it really didn't deliver. But, I mean, on an ending note, though, Disclosure Day really felt like Spielberg revisiting many of his ideas from other movies he's done and kind of slapping it all together. And it undeniably is still a Spielberg film through and through. Like it's ambitious, it's got emotional moments, it's visually impressive, and ultimately optimistic about society's future, which is a Spielberg staple all through and through. It's not really about the aliens, it's about whether humanity can handle the truth. You know what I mean? So do what you guys want with that information. I would suggest if you want to experience it, please do. I'm not going to call this like a flop or I'm not going to call it trash or anything like that, but I do understand if people didn't like this. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I think it's just okay. It's not bad, but it's not terrible. It's not great either. It's not going to be like one of my favorite movies of 2026, but I think it's something worth at least experiencing. So, with that being said, like, comment, subscribe for more. Let me know how you guys feel down below. I'll see y'all in the next one.